September 4th, 2024. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. Kind of formed what looks like a head and shoulders pattern. There's like a shoulder here, a head, and then another shoulder. So kind of interesting. It was pretty choppy today. There was a lot of, I guess, setups that were almost there, but I didn't mark them because they just didn't look good for one reason or another. There's one piece of economic data that came out right around 7 a.m. Pacific Standard, which is about right here, is the JOLTS Job Opening reports. Actually started about right here where you see this gigantic sell-off happen, then a bounce, and then kind of a bunch of crazy swings. I took a total of 3 trades, which is more than what I usually take, and I marked 2 trades that I saw as hunch trades. In other words, things that I thought was a possible trade, but I didn't have enough experience or justification to take the trade. But I marked it anyways, but I didn't mark it as official setup in my notes. And looked like it's just one big leg up. There's this news item that came out, then a second leg up, and the same thing goes one leg down, a consolidation area with a spike here, and then another leg down. You could parse it out to maybe 2 legs and another rally back up. So I'm going to go into my trades and where I saw setups. So in the pre-market there was quite a bit of volume today, and it was very choppy. I'm not here to trade. I'm not around to trade the pre-market, so I didn't really see. And after looking at the fact, I didn't really see any good clean setups that I think I would have taken. Plus, in the pre-market, it takes a little longer for candles to close because the volume is so low. So that's generally why I don't trade the pre-market. Plus, it's too early in the AM on the Pacific Standard Time for me to want to trade that. So prices are moving up, and I found what I thought was this orange up channel. Now, I was playing with the idea that perhaps this orange up channel might have been cut a little closer, but in the end, it looked like it fit pretty well here because it fit the top side pretty well, especially when I try to make it touch right here. The first setup that I took is actually 2 key entry points. So you have this red down channel coming down, then you have a break, and it pushes back up. So counting from here as a localized new high, you have a first entry long pullback, second entry long. But I also saw this as a new low, new localized low. There's a first entry short, pullback, second entry short. The second entry short here gets confirmed, but is holding on the EMA, and also saw this as new high, first entry long, second entry long, potentially a bounce off the EMA. And EMA is starting to hold support. There was some violations, early on, but overall it does clearly look like it's trending up. Now the pre-market high, which was here, didn't really matter too much at the end of the day. So I'll delete it later, but I saw this and I was watching what would happen on the next candle. So it actually opened here, flushed down, and it bounced around. And it was the 2000 ticks was counting down. And as it was counting down, I felt like there was enough momentum to get a quick scalp. So I actually entered the high of this candle because I saw 2 key entry points, first entry long, second entry long. This isn't a very good signal bar for second entry long, but I have other things going for it. It's a first entry short, second entry short failure. Clearly it's failed here. And so I thought there was enough momentum to jump up. Plus the ticks remaining was counting down pretty fast. So I entered, it flashes up and then actually closed lower. Then on the second candle, it flushes up. I got my scalp and I moved my stop from down here all the way up to 1 tick above my entry. So it flushes up again. So I move it 1 tick below this guy and I'm just chasing it up. And it actually stops me out a little bit with 2 ticks. I think what happened, I don't quite remember, but I had it 1 tick originally, which would have been right here. But I think I kept it right where my original bulk of my contracts was taken out, just to give it a little more room. As you can see, it wouldn't have mattered even if I kept it 1 tick above. I would have just, lost out on more potential profit. Then prices continue moving up. So then it starts reversing. There's this big flush down, and this is because of the JOLTS job opening reports comes out, and it sets up, it bounces really strongly and comes back up. So typically I don't like to trade the news item, but for whatever reason, which isn't really a good reason, I saw this big flush down and I saw it starting to recover. And this is still within the first 2 minutes, and this is actually where I take my second trade. I saw a new low here, the first entry short, push up, second entry short. Now the second entry short is confirmed second entry short, but also on the same candle, it has failed. So when it bounced down, it was the same thing. Now this from here to here, all these candles is in a span of 2 minutes. So this is happening very quickly. So I actually just jumped on momentum, seeing that As this candle was about to close, there was probably, in my belief, enough momentum to push up for at least 1 point. So I actually entered 1 tick above, but I got a little bit of slippage. So I actually entered 2 ticks above where I 2 ticks, 1 tick above where I actually wanted to. So it's actually 2 ticks above the high of this. But I lost a little bit of slippage by 1 tick. It flushes up. I get my scalp, and then I quickly move my stop from down here all the way to 1 tick above my entry. As you can see, there's this, it's hard to see, but there's this pink candle here. Not pink candle, pink triangle. That's where my runner got stopped out. So knowing that this is very volatile and this happened in 2 minutes, I didn't want to risk a crazy flush down. But if I, kind of kept it, say, 1 tick below here, instead of all the way down here, it looks like I would have been able to chase this runner up. But I'm okay with this trade, considering the fact that the economic data just came out and it can be very volatile. So this is already a risky trade inherently. I should have just kind of like, it's already inherently a risky trade and I should have just probably left it alone. But for whatever reason, I saw this and I thought, okay, it's pushing back up. Prices then chop and move sideways, flushes up. I don't know what happened here, but this is huge, huge candle. This is like 8.5 points, 8, 8.5 points. So that's like 34 ticks, which is quite large. It kind of chops around. I see a second entry long here, then a more clear second entry long here, but I didn't really like any of the setup. You do have a second entry short here, first entry short, second entry short. I like it moves 1 tick above and then flushes down. But when I see this in real time, I'm not thinking of short when I see this. Then when you see this and it confirms and it pushes past this bar, it's already too late. The only thing you can hope for is a lower high, which you kind of get right here, but it's not very convincing because you get a lower high confirmed right here. But this is a lower high, but this is a green candle, and you just kind of decide that it's not really worth taking that trade. It chops up, moves up on this channel up, and I think I see this second entry long. So I actually saw this as a spike, and then I saw a channel going up here. It's been deleted since then, but I had a spike and then a kind of a channel running up this way because it looked like it touched and confirmed pretty well. It's not the cleanest way to draw it, but nevertheless, it's kind of where the midline and the top was. I saw a new high, first entry long, second entry long. I actually like this trade. I thought it was a possible trade because it bounces off the bottom of the channel that I've since deleted. EMA is holding prices up. It's a pretty decent signal bar with enough room to the highs. And the signal bar itself is only 10 ticks, which is right in my risk profile. So it would have been a decent trade to take. And then it kind of comes up to here. It confirms the top of this green up channel. And I thought this is what I call a hunch trade. Because I saw this as a hidden second entry short. Because this new low here, localized. First entry short moves up by 1 tick. I think it's actually 2 ticks, then flushes down really strongly. When I saw this in real time, I was thinking there's probably a short there, but I didn't have the guts and experience to really trust this, especially when prices are already pushing really strongly up. This is what you see in real time. You're just thinking one leg, consolidation, potential second leg. So when I saw that, I'm just not confident in taking a short here. It's what I call a hunch trade, something I saw, I thought it was a short, but I didn't take it. Then it kind of consolidates sideways and it pushes back up. It fits this green up channel pretty nicely now. Comes back here, it breaks out. It almost looks like it's holding support, but then it continues downward, what I think is this orange down channel. Bounces. This is actually where I take my third and final trade. So it's one leg down, 2 attempts up, another big leg down. It looks like it's one attempt, pull back, a second attempt. But I know that this green down channel wants to test this low. So it looked like it was one attempt here, a second attempt. And then when I saw this, it pushes up. EMA is holding prices down. I'm thinking potential lower high. Then it confirms the lower high when it opens. And again, I did enter while this candle hasn't closed yet because I saw it open here, punch up once, and it flushed down, and it was dancing around here for a little bit. And I thought, okay, there's probably enough momentum to push down for a 1 point scalp. So I actually entered 1 tick below this one. So this tick is 55.40.75. And I entered at 55.40.50. And as you can see, it moves all the way down to 55.39.75. So I actually needed to move 2 more ticks. And it does. It flushes down, which I was pretty happy with. I move my runner from the stop above here. I move it to 1 point where my entry is plus 1 tick below. And it's flushing down, so I move it down to here 1 tick below. And then I'm going to give it more room. So actually move it back up to where the bulk of the profit was taken. And as you can see, it flushes up and takes me out. But even if I kept it at break even, right here where this pink triangle is, I would have been taken out anyways. And it pushes around, it looks like it's entering a trading range again. Then it flushes out. And so here it bounces off like a triple test here, but I couldn't find any clean setup to justify taking a trade there. It pushes up. This is my second hunch trade. It's a kind of a long trade position. I saw this as a new high. It's a first. Let me zoom in. It's a new high. It's a first entry long right here. Pull back, and this actually creates a hidden second entry long because it actually breaks below, engulfs this candle completely, closes above its high, and actually ticks above the EMA. So I thought this might have been a possible trade, but I was concerned that this green down channel hasn't tested its low. But I'm also playing against the potential of a trading range. So technically it has touched the bottom of the trading range here and it could be pushing back up. I had a failed breakout here and another corresponding failed breakout here, but this didn't feel safe enough. So I had to let it go, but I had a hunch about this trade to go long. Looked like it would have worked though. I think with more time and experience, I would have a better feel of whether contextually this is a safe trade to have taken. Prices then continue moving. So this is a second entry short here, but I called it an almost trade because it pushes back down, bounces off the bottom of the range. First entry short, pullback, second entry short. Now, I call this a second entry short almost trade because it didn't quite reject off the top. It's a decent signal bar. It closed right below the EMA, but the EMA is starting to kind of move sideways, so you can't really trust it too much. I did have this trend channel drawn and I wasn't sure where the bottom was. So you could have argued that it was bouncing a third confirmation rejection off the yellow down channel, but I didn't have it drawn to really trust it yet. So I wasn't 100% sure. Plus, even though it's a good signal bar, it looked like it was two legs up and I wasn't sure if it was going to make another attempt push up to this side of the trading range. So it's just a little ambiguous to me. So I called it an almost trade. The prices continue flushing down on what I thought was this yellow down channel. And it sets up this last, I think, relatively decent trade because this yellow down channel has an overshoot slightly here, but it's consolidating, makes two attempts up, one attempt down, push up, and I'm thinking there is a potential another push back down. And I thought this might have been a developing trading range. So on the visuals, it looks like one attempt up, pullback, second attempt up. So it's a first entry short pullback, potential second entry short in the visual, plus a failed breakout, but it did make a new high right here. So it's a possible trade, and there's enough room to the EMA, but I just didn't have I think the experience to really trust the setup and the read that I had. I mean, I could be wrong and there's actually no setup here, but the way I saw it is I thought there was a setup, one push up, pull back, second push up, then a continuation down to test the low of this yellow down channel. That's kind of what it did, especially when I saw these three big candles that happened in quick succession. Probably felt a little bit of FOMO, but it was okay because I just wasn't confident in the read. Then prices start moving down on this green down channel. No clean second entries that I could really trust. There's a lot of first entries, bounces up, and it starts moving up on this yellow up channel, but it's just not a clean run. And it kind of moves into the close. And into the close is like right here is the last 10 minutes where things get really choppy. There was arguably a first entry long, second entry long here, doji candle, but I was playing with the idea that there might be a kind of a channel here, but there wasn't a really clean because there's some violations and breakthroughs that I didn't really fully trust. So I ended up just deleting it. Plus, as the end of the day, it's kind of counting my luck of these three green trades. Two of them were a little aggressive, and I was just lucky. I not lucky, but I think I was more fortunate on these two trades that they worked out. They're certainly more aggressive, but I didn't really want to push my luck back here to get back potentially any profits. So it's kind of how I saw the charts today. Hopefully that was helpful.